Okay, cool. Because we've got two more callers. I'd like to try and get to them as quickly as possible. I don't know who this next caller is. It says they want to talk about Catholic tradition. Why is it? There we go.
No, my name is, I go by Catholic traditionalist.
Oh, okay. You're on with IQ and Ethan. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. There might be a little bit of a lag because I'm calling through the internet.
Oh, you sound great. But if you could, we don't have a lot of time left. So if you could go, fairly quickly with what you were calling about.
Sure. I could get you guys to prove that what Mr. Batman was saying is absolutely true, just by asking you a few questions.
You're going to prove that what Mr. Batman said earlier today, that God is real?
No, you are. No, you will. I can ask you a few questions, and by the answers you give, you'll prove that what Mr. Batman was saying is true.
Okay, if you can make it quick, go ahead.
Okay, sure. Is logic a conceptualization of the mind?
Is logic a conceptualization of the mind? Okay, whether my answer is yes
Correct.
or no, how would that get to a God?
Well, if you go ahead and answer my questions, you can just give a yes or no. We'll get to it quickly, and you'll see how it gets to God. So is logic, do you know that logic is a conceptualization of the mind?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So someone said yes, great. Okay. So do you know that logic exists outside of your mind?
As far as objectively, like other people experience logic as I do? Or is it in like an actually tangible thing?
Like, are we talking
any
about
logic whatsoever with regards to all logical laws and principles, any of that? With regards to truth itself, anything of what you experience, do you know that any of it exists outside of your mind?
Do I know if it
outside
exists?
of my mind?
No.
Yes, but not outside of the mind.
Okay. So you know that it exists outside of your mind. Well, how is it that you know this if you don't have a mind to know it? You just stated something that's a contradiction.
Okay.
It's impossible for you to know that logic exists out of your own mind.
Okay. Whether
Oh no, I get what he's saying. No, you've got me. He's right. I do not know that. I believe that logic exists outside of my mind. So you've corrected me, sir. Thank you.
So, right. So you assume that it exists, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll go with we'll go with the assume. Yeah.
Do you assume you're speaking to me over the phone and that you're live streaming on YouTube right now?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's an assumption. I would say it was based on a rational understanding of, and the evidence in front of me. Like
here's what he's getting at. It's we're assuming everything because we don't actually know. I mean, are we getting to solipsism here? Is that where you're ending up at?
Yeah. So, right. So rationality and reasoning is using logic in your mind. Okay. So you are assuming that you're speaking to me by the phone right now, right?
Sure.
Yes, and I hope that assumption is correct because I will hate myself if that's not true.
Okay. So then, by the answers you've given me, you've just admitted that Mr. Batman is correct, that God does exist. No. And let me explain why. You've admitted that you can only know.
I'm sorry.
That logic is only a conceptualized. Okay, do you want me to explain, or you want me to? I'm trying to explain to you why it is that you just.
To be honest, no, man.
Neither.
But I mean, I will be cordial. Go ahead, finish. I mean, it's not my show. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to be an asshole. Sorry. Go ahead. You went ahead and you cut him off because you said he was being disrespectful to you, and are you being disrespectful to me? I mean, you asked me to explain. I'm trying to explain to you. Do you want me to explain or not? Do you want your viewers to hear my explanation, or you just want to?
or you just want to hide what the theist has to say because you can't refute what the theist has to say.
All right, look, man, if we're going to play that game, I'm not biting. We're here to talk. Now, you made an assumption or assertion that we both proved Mr. Batman's claim that God exists, which is categorically false. But please explain how we proved that.
Well, I would love to, but when I was trying to explain it, you guys were interrupting me. I don't know what you guys were saying, but you kept interrupting me.
Go ahead,
so
make
please
it quick.
don't interrupt me. I'm going to try to get it out for your views, okay? So your viewers can hear and you can hear. You've admitted, it's on video. Everyone can go back and see it and play it. You admitted that you can only know that logic is a conceptualization of the mind and that you cannot know that logic is outside of your mind. So you only assume there's something outside of your mind, but you cannot know that logic is outside of your mind. So if what you're assuming is true, that logic exists, what you're assuming to be true is that logic exists, even though you don't know it, because you only know that logic is a conceptualization of the mind, then all we can know, because we all have minds, is that logic is only a conceptualization of the mind. Therefore, the logic that you think you're experiencing is from a mind that actually sustains and actualized what is those laws that we experience. And that mind is the mind of God.
Okay, so again, you went in this gigantic explanation, which I don't know if you're a precept, but people who typically use presuppositionals only make these assertions. So you went ahead and just said, hey, it only exists because of God.
No, you said it. No, you did.
No,
I didn't say
not.
it. You did.
No, I did not.
By your answers, you've admitted it by your answers.
Okay, I'm sorry. I try and be respectful, but this is ridiculous. Neither of us admitted that there was a God. Come on.
No, he's saying we admitted that we cannot know that logic exists outside of our mind, and that
you would have to admit. Yeah, because of your answers, you would have to admit that God exists. There's no way to get out of it. You boxed
No, I don't.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, and I apologize that I'm laughing right now, but I'm only laughing because you're telling me what I admitted and what I believe, and that's not true. Demonstrate there is a God for me.
No, because you say that.
Kind of getting into solipsism there, but I'm kind of with you right up until the point where you say, and that's the mind of God.
Right.
Demonstrate that there's a God there, and we can try to match those things up. But really, up until that point, it's just a logic puzzle. And then you insert God at the end.
Because it's either your mind, or it's the mind of God. It can't be any other mind.
Says who?
So therefore, you're left with two conclusions. Either your mind is the cause of the galaxies, the stars, the planets, all the atoms in the universe, everything that is, or it's God. Because you can't say that it's any other mind. It would have to be either a mind that actualized and sustained the galaxies, the planets, the universe itself, or it's your own mind, because your own mind is the mind that's experiencing it. You're only left with those two conclusions. So which one are you going to take? The solipsism approach, or
you're
belief
just
in God,
making assumptions.
Which is
You don't get to do that. That's not how it works. I mean, I could sit here and say everything is
give me an alternative.
Okay, the universe creating pixies, a spaghetti monster, a ancient alien civilization. There's three other possible.
Okay, none of that is in response to the logic argument. Yeah, none of that is in response to the logic argument. Okay?
Doesn't get
you
to
could
a
say
God.
The spaghetti monster. You could say anything. None of that is in regards to the argument with regards to logic and the answers that you gave me.
Your logic didn't get to God.
You and your
and you can say it boxed us in, but
it's just as prescriptive as just saying, like, okay, all this stuff that's going on, that's God. No, it's flying spaghetti monster, or it's, my toaster is actually a sentient being. Like, I mean, you can just assume anything.
You yourselves admitted that it is a mind that is responsible for logic. There's no way to escape it. You yourselves admitted it.
And who said this mind was God, and how do you
Do
demonstrate
you want
that?
to take back? Do you guys want to backpedal and take back what you said earlier?
Demonstrate that there's a God.
I'm not taking back anything about how, my mind experiences logic. And yes, I assume that logic happens in other minds that I do believe are around me. No, I do not assume that logic exists as a thing outside of any particular person's mind, because it's just our understanding, how we interact with the universe, how we think. And just to say that this, okay, since that the logic is there and it can only be in a mind, and the universe exists, it has to be created by a mind. We can't really get there with that. I can understand things, I can think about things, but I'm not going to backpedal on that. Logic just exists in my mind.
Okay, you have been muted.
It's conceptualized.
Okay, for the people watching, I don't like muting people. I want to avoid it at all costs. I don't want to hang up on people. But if you're going to sit there and try and interrupt or talk over my co-host, I'm going to do that. You have to let him finish. And I know you get upset when you get off your script. I'm sorry. Demonstrate
that he's still talking.
He probably is still talking. So I'm going to unmute you. And in 10 to 20 seconds, demonstrate there's a God, and we can continue the conversation. You're back on.
Yeah, no, I wasn't talking. Yeah, I wasn't talking while I was muted. But anyway, yeah, as I said before, you guys gave the proof by claiming that logic is only a conceptualization of the mind, and that you do not know that logic exists outside of the mind.
Last
Therefore,
chance.
whatever you're experiencing, hold on, you told me you were going to give me the time to go ahead and explain,
but
and now
you're just
you're going
going
to cut
back
me
over
off.
your script.
It shows
Yes,
the
I'm going to cut you off.
Dishonesty of the atheistic community, because you have no God, you have no moral principles, and because you have no moral principles, then no.
Okay, you're done.
No, hold the fuck up, dude. No, seriously. You're going to tell me I have no moral principles? No, fuck that, and fuck you. Now, if you want to call into this show and you want to talk about something that we can joke about, something that you had an experience and all this, and we can talk about it. And if you've got a problem, if I see a problem, if I ran into you in the street and you are sad, if you call in here and you've got a problem, your wife's cheating on you or you're depressed, I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to help you, because you're a fucking human being. I don't care what you believe. I don't care what the hell's going on. But don't call up here with these logic parlor tricks and with these gotcha moments and expect us to be respectful the whole fucking time, especially when you're going to disrespect us. Fuck that. You are not going to get respect that way, sir.